My boss fired me for getting cancer, so I made sure his business got terminal too. Gary loved his spreadsheets more than his employees. He tracked everything, and anyone whose numbers dropped because they were sick got axed. Regina after her pregnancy went bad. Samuel when he took time off for his wife's chemo. The receptionist who started calling in sick more often. All gone. I worked at Gary's logistics company for 7 years and watched him perfect his system. He tracked bathroom breaks and lunch times and color-coded productivity scores. Every Monday meeting featured his latest chart showing who was underperforming. The underperformers were always the ones dealing with health problems. Regina tried explaining that pregnancy complications made her exhausted, but Gary just tapped her productivity chart. Samuel begged for flexibility during his wife's cancer treatment. Gary's response was always the same cold stare and a printout of attendance policies. The receptionist didn't even get a conversation before finding her desk empty. We all saw the pattern but kept quiet because we needed our jobs. Gary got praised by corporate for running such lean operations every quarter. He even won a regional efficiency award that he displayed prominently in his office. Young, healthy employees got promoted while anyone over 40 started secretly updating resumes. The break room whispers grew quieter as more people disappeared. I had my daughter Lily to worry about since her asthma medication cost hundreds monthly. The insurance from this job kept her breathing normally, so I stayed quiet and worked hard. I told myself I was different because I never got sick. The doctor said cancer and my world tilted sideways that Tuesday afternoon. She explained that 6 weeks of chemo would knock it out completely. I drove straight from the hospital to Gary's office to discuss my treatment schedule. He pulled up my employee file and started typing numbers into his calculator. Your productivity will drop by half during chemo. That puts you below minimum standards. I explained about working from home and my 7 years of perfect reviews. Gary was already printing termination paperwork while I talked about needing insurance for treatment. Nothing personal. The numbers are the numbers. That night, Lily found me staring at medical bills and started crying. She offered to quit school and work, but I refused to let cancer steal her future too. Something shifted while I held her because I realized Gary's obsession with documentation meant he'd been recording evidence. Every spreadsheet that justified firing sick people was proof of discrimination. Standing in my kitchen, I decided those numbers he loved would become numbers in a lawsuit. My first chemo session gave me time to think about Gary's meticulous records. He documented every termination with detailed spreadsheets showing productivity drops and health-related absences. Those files would prove a pattern of illegal discrimination against sick employees. I started calling everyone Gary had fired over the years. Regina was living with her parents after losing her house to medical debt. Samuel's family had declared bankruptcy trying to pay for cancer treatment. The receptionist was still fighting for disability benefits after being terminated. Each person I found had the same story about getting sick and getting fired. Within 2 weeks, I'd identified 47 employees terminated within 90 days of health issues. Gary's own data showed clear discrimination patterns that violated federal employment law. We started meeting Tuesday nights at my apartment to organize our documentation. Lily made coffee and listened to their stories while I compiled evidence. She offered her college savings to hire a lawyer, but I promised we'd find another way. Her willingness to sacrifice her future for justice gave me strength to keep going. The employment lawyer studied our evidence for an hour before speaking. He documented his own crimes in perfect detail. This is a slam dunk discrimination case. We filed the class action lawsuit on a Monday morning. Gary got served during his weekly metrics meeting and turned white as printer paper. He actually laughed and told everyone it was just disgruntled employees trying to get money. Security cameras showed him trying to delete files that night, but our lawyer had already secured a preservation order. His panic really started when he realized every spreadsheet was backed up on corporate servers. His emails revealed worse things like referring to sick employees as deadweight dragging down profits. During depositions, Gary kept insisting he just followed the numbers, but those numbers condemned him. He tried blaming corporate policies, but we had emails showing he created the system himself. Current employees started secretly sending us training documents where Gary taught managers to find performance issues for anyone taking medical leave. His attempts to settle quietly failed when plaintiffs refused anything less than full accountability. The trial lasted 3 weeks, and Gary's confidence crumbled as his spreadsheets became evidence against him. Our lawyer displayed each termination chart on huge screens while explaining the discrimination pattern. I watched Gary shrink in his chair as his own data buried him. The judge told Gary directly that he'd created the most detailed employment discrimination record she'd ever seen. Gary's major clients canceled contracts immediately after news broke about the lawsuit verdict. The jury awarded $3.2 million in damages and required reinstatement offers for all plaintiffs. Gary was personally liable for $800,000, which cost him everything. The company went bankrupt within 6 months. Gary stocks shelves at an electronics store now without health insurance. My cancer's in remission, and I help discrimination victims build cases. Lily studies employment law on our settlement money. Gary still makes spreadsheets tracking his minimum wage hours. His numbers finally matter.